What is up, everybody? This is Ryan with the Scale Up Show. I have a very special guest on today. I have Ike Singh. Ike basically bootstrapped his way to $1 million-ish, and then in 3 years catapulted that into 15 million through product-led growth plus sales by only having 5 salespeople. Awesome journey. You got to hear this. Check it out. I'm really excited to share this to you and his journey. Check it out this episode. Welcome, everybody. This is Ryan Staley with the Scale Up Show. I have a very special guest today. I have Ike Singh. Ike is the CEO of Social27, a virtual event platform that's been helping businesses connect digitally throughout the pandemic and beyond. So they've had many phases, but experienced explosive growth, like 1,400% over the past 4 quarters. And on top of it, he started his professional career at Microsoft, where he focused on partner programs and marketing, and went on to co-found, I should say, not 1, not 2, but run 4 successful organizations, and then that led him to Social27. Ike, happy to have you on the show, man. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ryan. It's an absolute pleasure. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Quick question. I mean, what prepared you? What do you think working at a big company, or which part of your journey prepared you the most for founding a company and then creating explosive growth? Like if you had to break it down to 1 or 2 things that were just amazing, had an amazing impact on your trajectory, what would you say they would be?
I think the biggest things that I would say, at least in the beginning of my career at Microsoft and just over the years, I would say it's the access to such amazing minds. Okay, when you work at one of these really cool corporations and or big companies out there, I mean, the people who are there, they're from all over the world, and in most cases, they're the best of the best. Right. So just being with them and learning from them, some of my managers during that time and or even my peers, really helped me understand, from their experience. But then having a global role in which I would, work with, all across the world, Asia, Europe, Africa, and so forth, South America, I really also got a very good understanding of how do you take, your, strategies and you globalize them. And what are the nuances, while that happens, So I think it was an amazing experience in learning from the best, but also being able to then execute on a global basis and mess up sometimes and understand why, because you always think like, oh, this worked really well here. Why doesn't it work there? So it's just knowing those things, I think, was what prepared me really well to think, I guess, from the bottom up. Keeping global in mind and keeping scale in mind. I think global and the scale of things, to be able to execute on scale and what does that take, I think was certainly some of the things I learned there. If we are focused on a certain area that we want to build a product in, the best way to do that is to actually not just sit in a garage and just, kind of like sit in your own bubble and figure it out. It's being out there, So for us, while we were building our stuff, we were consulting on a lot of stuff that was very close to what our product was going to be. So building those relationships out there, working, with those teams, at our customers and understanding their pain points and seeing how this product would solve them. So 2018 was a year when we actually stopped doing a bunch of other stuff that we were doing, which could have become businesses of their own. But then, it was more like, no, guys, let's focus on this whole AI machine learning game, recommendation engines, prediction engines, all that fun stuff for events. Okay. And for that particular purpose, let's make sure that we are aligned with, consulting gigs that are focused on taking events into the next world and or video, encoding, streaming and or, how to build, rapidly, some kind of a machine learning that can, a bot or whatever, So it's like, let's get into this game and do everything that we do in alignment with what our product vision is as closely as possible, right? So that we are continuing to keep our 1 foot in the real world and 1 foot in our product development world and don't miss out on the pulse of the market.
Okay. That's great detail. And you'll follow me where I'm going here. So you started in 2007, you were kind of figuring things out, doing consulting. Did you ever have significantly higher revenue than that $1 million mark?
We were sitting at around about 3 million or so, I would say to a 2011, 2012 range. But again, how consulting gigs are. They'll suck you in with the money. But the point is, it's still a service business. It can never really, again, I'm not saying that they don't go anywhere, but it wasn't what my dream
Right.
was. We wanted to build product. So we were self-funding ourselves, at that stage. So whatever money we used to make, we used to put into our product, and that's when we kind of launched the first version of our virtual events platform was 2012-ish. We'd had good success with it. We were again sitting on those 2, 3 million, $4 million marks, for our, annual revenue at that stage. But yeah, so that's kind of how it was.
How do you scale revenue that fast? What did you do? How did you do it? What did the team look like? Walk us through some of that, because I'm sure people are like, "Hey, getting under the hood here." I'd love to hear how that's possible and how you make that massive jump in such a short period of time.
Sure, Ryan, that's a very, very good question. So I get asked that question many times. So we went from a less than about 20-ish, 25 people company to about 230 people in matter of
Wow.
4 months. Okay, so the
Wow.
point is that was quite a gigantic step in itself, because if I'm serving the enterprise, they need to talk to people. They have specific needs and so forth. I can't just be like, hey man, just talk to my email bot, right? So the point is, we had to grow exponentially from people perspective, and a lot of this again was dev team plus operations people, account managers, customer success managers, because that's standard in a software business right now. You have to have a
Right.
CSM. Nobody's going to give you work otherwise. So a lot of those kind of people. I was lucky enough that my core team, my 20-ish people, had been with us for a really long time, and they really understood our vision and were the ones who were really just up to the challenge. It was a very challenging year to grow so much so fast, and to all put all those new processes in place and all that. And I was very lucky to also hire lots of amazing people. If I had to do all of this in a normal world and had to hire a bunch of these people, 200 plus new people in Seattle in a quarter, impossible, no way, and very, very expensive. But because of the whole remote work situation, I hired across the world. Okay, so I have people now working for Social27 in 10 plus countries in the world, and about, I don't know, 15, 20 states across the US. It doesn't matter where you are, if you are the right kind of person, we want to work with you, right? So that is, I think, what really helped us to grow really, really fast. And because we knew our business so well, and it's not something that we were like building this, while we were flying it. Yeah, I'm not going to say, yes, we did build some things like that because there was a need in the customer's mind, but we were pretty ready. So imagine that ship I was talking about earlier, right? The tide came and we were that 25-person crew. We picked up some awesome crew on the way in those islands, while we were on our journey. And, we picked up some treasures as we went by. And, I think we've certainly hit promised land a couple of times in our journey so far. So yeah, that's kind of the story there.
What would you say is like, if you had to look at it, like that's a long time that it took you to get to this point of the explosive growth. Like, what did you have to believe internally yourself to get past that point and keep that persistence of kind of that? I wouldn't say you plateaued, because it sounded like you started to grow, but you were just growing kind of incrementally before you had that big exponential jump. So what did you, as a founder, would you have to believe to really truly get past that and get past the inner voice of saying, I should be going faster, or we should be further along by now?
Yeah, no, that happens every day. I don't know any entrepreneur in the world who hasn't gone through these ups and downs. Okay, and that is what makes you, so again, me and my brother, who's the co-founder, we always did have a dream of having a company which will have a worldwide impact, right? So I think we are there right now. But anything that we were doing over the years wasn't like we were not enjoying it, right? So the point was we were always doing things that we were really enjoying. And yes, I agree. In some of those markets, we were early. Even with the virtual events, we started like in 2012, and streaming was so expensive that people were like, man, I really want to do more with you, but I can't. It's too expensive. So the point was we are just, I think, a little too visionary when it comes to our minds, and that was a problem. So I think in many markets that we got into, we kind of ran out of gas before anything could happen. And so we were a little too early, and we were like, oh, everything's just going to super change overnight, and it did not. So this time around, the universe listened, and it was there at the same time when we were ready for it, right? So, but we were always having a great time doing what we were doing. So I think, and still making money, because again, that's the thing, the lovely part about B2B is that you don't lift a finger unless you have a PO, right? So we were still having a great time, building amazing product on the side, but still working with amazing companies, consulting with them about similar things that we love doing anyways, and taking those learnings back into the product. The product would take longer, because I wasn't doing it all day, every day, because we were still like trying to pay the bills, but that was fine because it made us all grow into who we are, so keep on doing what you enjoy doing, and one day you'll strike gold. Okay, hopefully, that's what it is.
Love it. I love that, man. That's great to hear you say that, because there's a lot of folks that I talk to that they're struggling, or they're year 7 into their 9-year overnight success, right? So it's good. It's good to hear that. So we're just about up on time. So where can people find you? Where can they learn more about you and Social27?
Yeah, I would say, LinkedIn is the best place, Social27, we are on LinkedIn. I'm there on LinkedIn. I think it's the best place. Reach out to us, if you have any questions and or anybody wants to talk more about some of the stuff we talked about today, Ryan, more than happy to do that as well.
Excellent. Well, Ike, it was great getting a chance to sit down with you. Loved hearing your story, and really, really happy that you're having the success that you are, and things are kind of taking it to the next level. Not kind of, they are taking it to the next level for you and your brother. So awesome story. It's inspiration to a lot of people. So thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Ryan. My pleasure. It was, and thank you. I think I like your train of thought. I love your other episodes that you guys do. So I think it's a great service. I've heard you guys and got inspired many times. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. That means the world.